Okay, so day 6, the return. We're moving a couple of kilometres up the canal to turn round before we tackle Foxton again. How you feeling, bro?
A bit disappointed because we are now turning round to go home, but thoroughly enjoying the journey.
Good, good. Okay, so we've arrived at the locks. I'm not just in front of the boat there, and being told that because of water management, they're going to let 6 boats down first before we can get up. So we're probably talking an hour to an hour and a half of waiting here, which is cool. It's only just 9 o'clock. That's absolutely fine. No rush today. We are planning on a nice leisurely-ish trip back. Maybe spend more than one night in Braunston on the way back, that sort of thing. So it's cool. But nice little place to moor up. Gotta get water over there. And Bridge 61 Freehouse. So we're on our way up, currently in the second lock of the 10. We were waiting for just over an hour and a half. It's absolutely fine. I was actually quite impressed that we were only waiting for that length of time, really. Thought it might be a bit longer. So a bit about the locks. They started building them in 1800, finished them in 1804. On site they had a brickwork, they had a blacksmith, they had carpenters, they had all of the workforce that they needed, and all of the industry that they needed around as well to actually do the locks. Just sheer manpower, made by hand. I was talking to one of the vloggers earlier, and they were saying when they drain the locks to do work on them and to put new gates in and things like that, it's amazing some of the stuff that they find and they see. You know, the little, well, not little, but the massive handmade lintels that go over the top of the inlet vents for the lock. Which were all forged iron. Just amazing. But yeah, it's almost 220 years old. almost 220 years old, and still working exactly the same. Along the side of the canal, they actually, excuse me a minute. Along the side of the canal, they put in a steam-powered lift that boats went into. They were lifted up sideways in 2 counterbalance weights. So lifted up a slope. Lifted up sideways and then carried on. It only operating for 11 years because it was too expensive to maintain and run. It wasn't commercially viable. So yeah, the guys who built this 100 years earlier knew what they were doing. 1900, they put in another system that they thought was going to be better, and then it just turned out to be far too expensive to both run, maintain, and keep going. So only operated for 11 years. Yeah, 200, almost 220 years later, this thing's still going. It's great. Simplicity.
Yes, I'll come back to you, then I'll ask, what have we done under the sun?
So, almost halfway up, just about to get into the passing pound before we start the next 5. As you can see, it's not quite straight. So there is a little bit of a turn coming out of this lock to get into the next 5. But look at the views. Just look at those. Look at the drop behind us. 75 feet. These 10 locks take us up. That's 20 foot more than my boat is long. It must be 75 metres, not 75 feet. So I was just talking to the Vlocky there, coming out of or coming into the passing pound, and just mentioned jokingly that they didn't have their plumb line when they were building this. He went, it's not straight deliberately. The water that comes in from the side, from the lock above, creates a little vortex in the pound. And he did say to me, just hold your rudder perfectly still, and just hold your rudder perfectly still, and the boat will come round. You won't have to steer. And you know, these not only did the Victorians knew what they were doing, the Vlockies knew what they were doing as well. And because he was right, I didn't have to steer the boat at all. The vortex of the water coming in pushed the front end of the boat out, and I just slipped straight into the lock, no steering whatsoever. So yeah, it really has been very, very well engineered. And there you have it, we're out the top now. It is, he says, trying to get his It's 11:33, so yeah, maybe an hour to go at that one that time. But we're out and we're on. We've got 18 miles of uninterruptedness now. No locks at all. A couple of tunnels though. Sorry, one tunnel in that 18 miles. And then we've got a few more miles between Crick and Braunston till the next lock as well. So all good fun. Brian's got an easy day today.
Now I've got an easy day.
Oh, if only the camera had seen that face. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
You got it all inside of you. Feel it to be true. And when you dance, I'm in the groove. You make me move. You make me move. You got it all inside of you. Feel it to be true. And when you dance, I'm in the groove. You make me move. You make me move.
So just spoken to the boat who's just come out. They said there was nothing following them, nothing close to them, so hopefully we'll get a clear shot through the tunnel. Fingers crossed for that anyway. We'll soon see if a boat does come in. But 1,071 meters of darkness and wetness now. See you on the other side. And we're fully in now. So we're just coming past North Kilworth Wharf. The marina's on the other side, I believe. Just a little bit further around the corner. But it's like a nice little wharf. Thank you.
Cheers.
Obviously do all the normal boaty supply things, fuel, pump out, gas, cold water and stuff, and also have a little boat ramp there where they do out of water stuff too. There was a boat up on the ramp when we came by yesterday. Yes, it's still there. Yeah, it's probably out for blacking, but it looks like it's got a nice shiny bottom. This guy was painting yesterday on the maroon and cream boat. But yeah, So we're shortly approaching the turn where we meet the Walford Arm. Where we meet the Walford Arm, but we'll be turning right and carrying on back down towards Crick on the Leicester line. It's been a nice day so far. Tunnel wasn't too bad. Only met one boat coming through the tunnel. They had stupidly bright lights on the front, so much so that I couldn't even see the back end of the boat because my eyes were still recovering from that. We did have a little bit of a scrape on the tunnel wall again. I'm glad I took my canopy off because I've got a new gouge in the paintwork. I'm so glad it happened this year, not next year, because if it was next year, the boat would have been freshly painted. And I'd be really upset. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I will put a scratch in my new paintwork at some point, but the first one is going to hurt, I'm sure. The boat just there is called Audacity. I think that's quite cool. Seen a lot of good names of boats. P45 is one of my favourite ones. That's saw that round Ado Wharf. I do like that one. Audacity is good. I've yet to see one called Dignity, but then they're boats, not ships, I suppose. So yeah, we're just clear of the A14 bridge, and it's a wiggly section now. We turn back on ourselves. At some point we're heading south, and then we turn back and we head north for a little bit, as well as heading across the country as well. So as the crow flies, where we're getting to, it's probably only about 4k. But we're doing 10 to get there, just to keep the canal level and stop the additional cost of having to put in locks. So we'll stop in Crick tonight. Hopefully the post office or the co-op will still be open, so we can go shopping. There's a kestrel up there. What did you say?
Oh, it's this again.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a kestrel up there, look. So yeah, hopefully the car will be open, we'll be able to get some. go shopping, and I'll cook tonight. Not sure what yet, depends what the co-op has in. And if the co-op isn't in, there are a couple of nice eateries in there. We've had the Indian recommended to us. So if the co-op's shut, then hopefully we might be able to get into the Indian.